Warning. This program contains strong language, auditory violence, and mental nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. In the annals of podcasting history, there have been many award-winning shows about gaming. Hot damn, this ain't one of them. Welcome back to another episode of the Unshackled Fury podcast, your uncensored home for all things Warcraft. Back from our winter break, we are ready to fire up this Rage-a-Hall-powered machine. And with me on this wild ride is the Bebop to my Rocksteady. He is Navox. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, welcome back. It's been a while, man.
Little while. Boy, our schedules have been busy.
Yeah, well, we ran into the holiday season, and how was it, by the way? Good?
Very busy.
Yeah.
Good in the sense that we all survived, mostly intact, and I think that at times can be the goal, depending on your family. But man, I'll tell you, this year it felt like, this was like the first year in a very long time where I felt like I was just going from fire to fire to fire to fire to fire. Like, okay, we got this event, and then I got to go shopping, and then I got to wrap, and then I got to go to this next thing, and then I got to do this thing, and then I got to do this and this and this. And it's like, I never had 5 minutes of peace just to relax, have like a boozy hot chocolate, and just enjoy the season. So I don't know. Maybe you got better luck at that than I did.
I think it's the same for everybody. I think everybody ends up having holiday stress. And, I mean, the holidays are notorious for it, but it was mainly quiet on our end, and towards the end of the year, actually things got better. We actually patched stuff up with some family, and nice. the year ended on a high note, for us, and so it was good. It was really good.
Good for you.
Yeah,
I think all of our fires just continue to burn hot and out of control. So, all right, well, we're back here. Back on the Warcraft scene, and we've certainly got a few things to talk about with the release of a new content patch. One of these sort of mid-tier, I guess, because we're going from one tier was the last one, and then some future date there'll be an expansion, I guess.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, our hallmark, our trademark, we got to rage.
That's right.
So let's jump in.
Let's rage.
I'm just going to say it right off the top. Legendaries. Legendaries are pissing me off. And you think, listen, legendaries, those are good. You see those orange drops and you see it pop up in Raid and you're like, hey, grats everybody, you got a legend. No, this is not what legendaries are supposed to have ever been. And I'm angry about it, and these are the reasons why. They used to mean something. Your guild would disband if you didn't get one of these things, or somebody threw a hissy fit because they were the, third healer in line for the one in Ulduar, or you were the 5th DPS in line to get Shadowmourne. That's the way it's supposed to be. You can't be like Oprah. You get a legendary, and you get a legendary, and you get a legendary. Like, that is awful. That is awful. And now we're going to be able to buy legendaries. Buy legendaries. You cannot buy a legendary. I mean, what kind of game is this? What kind of game is this? This is insane. And I understand that this is coming from an old school point of view, and I might be alienating the 3 potential millennial audience members we have. But this has never felt right to me. And is it because I'm jealous that I only have one of my good ones? Maybe. Maybe I'm a little jealous. Maybe I'm a little upset. Maybe, maybe I don't like the way that this is playing out for me. But I got to wonder, with the way that this expansion has treated legendaries, in all seriousness, does this hurt the status of the legendary as we know it, or does it even really matter at this point?
Well, I think going into the next expansion, Blizzard said the legendary system's not going to be this way. It's not going to be, the legendary fire hose is going to get turned off here, basically.
Whoa.
So,
well, you and your legendary fire hose, I think that's for another show.
But, it did, I think legendaries they're fun. They were fun to get. I got the very feeling of Diablo when we're playing WoW and a legendary pops up. You're playing Diablo and you would get that, the orange item that pops up. You're like, oh, this is cool, and I'll build a whole set out based on this legendary item and legendary set. And I didn't get the same feeling with these legendaries that we're getting. I also didn't get the same feeling like we're building the mage staff from Cataclysm. We're not going to kill Illidan and having those 3-hour long after raid meetings to discuss which DPS is going to get the left and right hand, Demon Hunter weapon there. I forget what it's called.
The Blades of Azzinoth.
The Blades of Azzinoth. Yes, that's it. Or, when we, take raid time to, get Thunder Fury for our, the Warriors. The Warriors needed it, and then the Rogues had to have it after that.
Yeah, apparently that's their artifact, which I still
the Rogues got it in their
understand.
artifact, which was it still pisses me off.
You see what I mean? This whole that's not a legendary, but this whole thing is garbage.
Yeah,
I'm gonna burn it all down.
The other thing is, I don't like the fact that I play with some quality people, and I've not been excluded from anything based on the fact that I don't have a certain legendary item.
Yeah.
So I know that there are some people out there that have experiences, and that's not fun gameplay to be like, hey, I want to come raid with you. Well, do you have the warrior legs, and do you have the warrior ring that you have to have in order to be, the top of the line Fury Warrior? Because if you don't have it, fuck you, go sit the bench. That's
why we let you raid with us this week.
Oh, no. Come on. I wanted to come raid with Salad Senate. Give me a break. Come on. I just figured this shit out. I didn't know how to do this like a month ago. I didn't know how to play a Fury
And
Warrior.
you're already like a million times better than I've been this entire expansion.
No. That's me going to Discord and pissing off the other Fury Warriors going, what am I supposed to do, guys? Check the parents. But it's, it's one of those things where it's one of those things where I'll be happy when we move away to this, and I think when we move away from this and we go back to maybe say a mop style legendary system where you worked
like with the cape.
to get with the cape, exactly. Yeah, so you had the one thing and the cape was it, and it was that was cool. I like that. I also prefer legendary items that you can visually see on a character. You don't get to see rings on a character. The legs, sure, but the legs were I transmog them because the legs just look like any other legs out there.
They weren't visually distinct enough. Like, you knew Shadowmourne, you knew Thunder Fury, you knew the Blades of Azzinoth. You could see the staff that you got in Cataclysm. It was
right.
It's like a mount, like a special mount. Which, by the way, I know I was going to save this for the news.
Oh.
But you got your invincible mount.
I did. I got the invincible mount.
So congratulations. And now I'm mad that I don't have one either. I'm going to rage on this. Now I don't get mount drops either. This is bullshit.
I went through and I wanted to get the tabard. And I wanted that tabard. So I decided I was like, how can I get this tabard? They're like, well, you can buy it off the auction house if somebody sells it. I don't think anybody sells that thing. I imagine if people farm it, they could sell it. But you have to go through and do the Shadowmourne quest. So I spent a couple months and did that. So, and then I think you will end up getting invincible on the last portion of that quest. And I don't know if that's true or not, but
it's just a random drop on 25 heroic.
Oh, really? It's completely random because I have a feeling. I almost wonder if the raid is kind of like if you're right there in the last part of the quest is to kill Lich King, and you're gonna get Shadowmourne. I think they geared it so like the rest of the raid doesn't feel left out. So like you're gonna get Shadowmourne, but then the rest of the people can roll on.
I think it's just random.
Yeah.
Is that what happened to you? Did you get Shadowmourne and Invincible all at the same time?
Yeah, it was the same. I finished the quest up, and
you are kidding me.
The last portion of the quest was to go and kill the Lich King.
Yeah.
And then, so when I killed Lich King, I looted everything, and I got the mount, and then I got the rest of the stuff for Shadowmourne.
You better buy some Powerball numbers. I've never even heard of this. Oh.
But it's cool. I mean, it's a good quest,
you.
and especially after reading Arthas and the stuff that you get out of it. There's there's a lot of things. It's no spoilers here. You guys have all done this quest, all three of our listeners have done this quest, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And got the tabard and stuff like this. So you get like Jaina's locket. So Jaina gives a locket to Arthas, and then there's a training sword that Moradin has from Arthas, and then there's the blood vial from Sylvanas, and then you end up also getting a tabard of the. Oh,
like the tabard of the light or something.
Yes, yeah, it's a really cool blue tabard with a fist on it. I really like it. It looks great on my paladin. But yeah, so it's a fun quest, and if you read it, I didn't do this quest till after I read the book, and everything makes more sense now about a lot of the stuff in game. So it's fun. It was a fun quest to do.
See, being up on your lore makes a difference.
Still rusty, but yeah, working back up on it.
But to the point of all of this, look at that particular legendary, and I'm being a bit more serious on this one, is that when you look at the Shadowmourne quest line, how deeply ingrained in the lore that piece was, all of the stuff, because you got the Crimson Charger mount, so you did get an actual mount out of that quest line.
Yes,
then you got the tabard, and you got a locket, which transports you back to Dalaran, and you got the music box, which does the
That is pretty
thing.
cool. That is pretty cool.
You got all of these things as part of that, and it was like really deeply ingrained as part of the story, and it made you really feel something, not just a sense of accomplishment, I think, at least from my perspective, of having gone through all of that, because you had to have gone through that with a raid team to be able to get all the pieces you needed, but personally, just to enjoy sort of the flavor that brought as kind of an extra piece of the story, where now it's, now I have this Fury hat. Okay, cool. It looks like the off-tier piece from Serpent Shrine Cavern. Hooray! It doesn't have that same allure to it the way that it used to. So I hope, even though they said that they don't have anything identified yet, I do kind of hope that it goes back to the old way. I preferred it, even if I didn't necessarily get it at the time and had to wait 3 years to farm something later. I'm okay with that. But yeah, you see the difference, and hopefully we'll get something a little closer to our hearts in the future.
Yeah.
All right. I think I've breathed enough fire on this one. So I see the walls in front of me are starting to scorch. So we got 735 up this week. So why don't we go ahead and dive into our news? So 7.3.5 went live this past Tuesday, and with it there were a whole bunch of kind of tweaks and changes and updates and various things. I know the first one that I saw when I logged in was they had changed the Ulduar achievement, the sort of meta achievement that used to be both. There was the one that was for 10 and there was the one that was for 25, and you got a mount for completing both. I had the one for the 25 achievement, but I never had the one for the 10. So when I logged in, I saw that now it counts for both, and I have both mounts. And I was like, hooray, I have another Proto Dragon. I think there's only one left that I don't have, so I'm kind of pumped about that. But your bag space, your added bag space finally showed up.
We are swimming in bag space now, guys.
What are you doing with your 4 extra slots?
For real, though, I'm kind of happy about this because I carry 3 sets of gears for all 3 sets of specs that I have. So I have absolutely no room in any of my... I have all these 30 bag slots. I have about 10 open bag slots. That's after they gave me the 4 free ones because I am a hoarding asshole with quest stuff that I don't go back and complete quests. So I've just got, I carry around all this... the quest items that you have to have in order to complete the quest. And so, but I'm happy with, the bag.
Are we going to have an intervention?
Yeah. We probably look at my bag. There's probably some probably some animal skeletons in there, or stuff like that.
We're going to have to call Niecy Nash to come over and help you clean house.
Yeah, exactly. I might need that piece of paper from the mail.
That squished and dried cat corpse is really going to seal the deal someday on some project. Oh my goodness. So I couldn't quite understand it. Maybe you can help me with this. It was that the bag space itself, getting those 4 extra slots, it was tied to not just having an authenticator, but you actually had to go into your account and check off on some stuff to say that you had that. You were getting like text alerts from Blizzard if something funky was happening with your account. So there was actually a little bit of work involved. So if you haven't seen those spaces show up, you do actually have to log into your account, do a few things along with getting the authenticator to make sure that actually happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for all of you listening out there, if you haven't seen your 4 extra slots yet, there's a blog that Blizzard put out there for it. Go ahead and take a look. That's exactly what I did. Log into your account. There's 1 or 2 things that you literally just have to do a little checkbox on, and you're good to go. One of the other things that popped up, which I'm sure I will never use, but I guess this thing is still around, is that there's new selfie filters.
Yes.
Do you use your selfie camera?
All the time. I am the absolute worst
Oh my God.
person to have in a raid group after something's been on farm, because I will take the selfie cam out like mid/, like everybody stack up. I'll turn around, pop the selfie cam, and it's like, what are you doing? And that shows up in the log file too, by the way. The selfie cam shows up in the log file. So, but yeah, so they added these selfie filters, and what they've done now also with the selfie cam, I forgot, is they made your character stare directly into it, because before it was kind of like weird where you'd put the selfie cam out, you try to get a selfie cam, and then your character's doing something, derpy off to the right and left. And it's like, I didn't want that.
I vaguely remember that.
But they've made it so that your character stares at the screen now. And also, in order to get the filters, there's a couple filters you can get now. And they're real easy to get. Firelands filter they have. It's by taking a picture of Ragnaros in Firelands. Taking a selfie with Ragnaros in Firelands. The Frostmourne one, how do you think you're going to get that one?
I have to go to Westfall.
That's right, the Lich King. So you're going to go there and take a selfie with the Lich King.
That was so close.
So close. And then you got the Shah one where you got to take a selfie with the Shah Fear and Terrace of Endless Springs. And then the Twilight one is by taking a selfie with Cho'Gall and Bastion of Twilight. And then, of course, the Argus one is, taking a selfie with Argus and Antorus. So
have you noticed that Argus is out of the skybox, by the way?
Argus is out of the skybox. That's right. Yep, it's gone.
When did that happen? With this patch?
Or
is it because I've finished the raid? Do you know?
No, if you finish the raid, it's gone. Like if you finish the raid in your character, it's gone. If you log in on another character, actually, I don't know. I haven't logged in on another character and looked up, but I was glad to see it gone. And now it's just a little white star in the sky.
It's Illidan.
It's that's Illidan.
That's all left of him in his rage.
It's just a white star, white fire.
All right, so you call yourself a warrior and you use your selfie camera. I'm writing this
all
down.
the time. Love it.
Do you ever post these to Twitter?
Sometimes, yes. Yeah. I think actually the last time I posted it to Twitter was we did a big get together to get everybody it is a while ago. There's a mount during Warlords of Draenor that everybody would have. It was a gigantic looking, ogre looking mount. I forget what it's called.
The Grawn?
The Grawn, yes. I think that's the last time I posted something with the selfie cam. Most of the stuff I post on Twitter are just like doing like, the warrior challenges and things like that. And I just use a regular, snapshot of that.
That is how I knew you got your Invincible mount, because you were gloating about it all over Twitter. Yeah. And I was getting ready to go into a doctor's appointment, and I was like, that bastard! And then I texted you and was like, hey, congrats! And inside I was like on fire and like really angry.
Invincible has wings, and I don't understand that. Cause I don't know why he's got wings. I know it's a flying mount. I know it can fly, but in the books it wasn't a.
There's just a regular horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, badass horse, but still a horse. Yeah, we also have legendary changes, as I mentioned earlier. So after you've enjoyed your new selfie filters, you are now able to buy yourself a legendary if you so need. with your what do they call? With your awakening essences.
The awakening essences. That's right.
So here's the deal: if you've been playing recently, you've maybe seen some of these showing up in your currency, and you're like, "Oh, what's that?" And then maybe you've gotten some of those awoken Titan essences. Did the quest, turned in, I think it was 50. Then you could, and they've done this a couple of times. You could level up the legendaries, which you got. Now it's up to 1,000, so you could essentially keep pace. Now what they've done is they've added what's called a purified Titan essence for 1,000 of these awakening essences. But to compensate for that, they have also increased the drop rate. So whether you're doing heroic dungeons or you're doing raids or in emissary caches or other caches, weekly quests, all kinds of stuff, you can pick these things up in various amounts. They've also upped the amount to get the Awoken Titan essence to 300 instead of 50, so I think you got a sense that there was some increase in the drop rate there. I believe that they've said this, is that you will not get a duplicate.
No,
and that
won't.
This does not affect your drop chance all the other ways that you were getting them already.
Right, your bad luck protection's still there from getting legendary. So if you're still gaining that bad luck protection by going and doing all of, like, for example, acquiring your awakening essences, you get 30 from the first heroic dungeon you do a day. You get, anywhere between 18 and 36 for the Antorus bosses. Your emissary cache, 24 to 60 from that. Mythic keystone caches, you get 120 off that. PvP quest, 42 for that, and the first random battleground victory you get is 30. So, I mean, you'll be swimming in these things, pretty soon. So they're not hard to obtain. And what's really nice is if, like, not gloating, but I have all of the Prot and all of the Fury legendaries, and I've realized that I'm still in Prot spec. I'm still in Prot spec, or I'm sorry,
one.
Fury. I'm in Fury. I'm in the Fury loot spec, and I realize that the legendaries that I'm getting are dropping for arms. I've had the best luck getting legendaries doing LFR, like just going, like I tank for LFR every once in a while, just go in there and just, because I still collect transmog gear, and I'm still trying to get that yellow transmog warrior set out of LFR. So, I realize that I get a lot of my legendaries by doing the world quest and doing LFR. And I don't know if LFR is weighted differently, like that, hey, we see that you're a certain item level, you're doing LFR, you're giving back to the, you're going in there and you're helping out.
Solid.
You're helping the tourists out, and it's like, so.
Bless your heart, here's a legendary.
here's a legendary. But
they're just giving them out just like candy.
But yeah, so the other nice thing is, it's like, if you're still missing legendaries for your spec, you'll obtain one of the missing ones. If you've got all the legendaries for your spec, you'll get other ones from your other specs. And then if you have all of them all together, you'll just get a random bind on account legendary. So if you have another class, you'll be able to use it at some point. So it'll help you out in future expansions when you're trying to get through Legion, and you can load up your legendary and, level up past all the
Take
content.
it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see this time in the lifespan or life cycle of an expansion where, they were real rigid about certain things earlier on and even into the mid game, and then you kind of get later into an expansion, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, here's all the stuff that you could get, and here's all the ways to catch up real quick, and go ahead, it's a free for all. And where before it was like, gosh, it's going to take me a little while to get 50 of these essences. Now you can get like several hundred in a week.
Well, that's, twofold. That helps out because Legion is in its sunset, and it helps out the players that are struggling their hardest, because there are people out there that just don't have the amount of time to play. There are people out there that move at different paces. People play differently, and they're making the game more accessible for everybody. And I like it. It takes the whole elitist attitude out of the I've got all the legendaries and you can't do anything. And it helps the players that are going, wow, I don't know if I'm ever going to get a legendary. Now you're going to get, if you're having really bad luck with your bad luck protection, well, you just have to do your quest and you're going to end up with a legendary eventually here. But yeah, I'm happy with what they do towards the end of expansions. It opens it up. It also, for people like me that have the one main and you try to do everything on your main, I have a lot of alts, but I don't really do anything with them. So it gives me some incentive to go play some of the alts and try to get some of the legendaries up on that, even though the legendaries are going to be useless past this expansion. So,
well, and so are artifacts.
Yeah,
we're gonna get to that at some point.
Yeah,
I guess so. Let's go into the sort of, I guess, the next big piece of this patch.
Okay,
which is the next cycle that we're going to be starting. Sort of kicks off with 7.3.5, where it's serving as both kind of the epilogue to Legion and setting the stage as the prologue for Battle for Azeroth. And it does so in a couple of ways that I thought they did very, very well. The first being, if you know me, you know I love the cinematics that Blizzard does. I think most people do. And what's the first thing that we see once we kick off the new quest line with 735 that everybody has, whether you're Horde or Alliance, is you get to see a brand new cinematic that essentially deals with, on the Horde side, all of the Horde leaders, and on the Alliance side, the best side, most of our leadership, Anduin in particular, giving a speech and talking about, we've done this, and it's right at Varian's sort of memorial site. But in the background, you're finding out, well, there's some stuff going on down there in Silithus, where there's a giant sword plunged into the heart of the planet, and the Horde are up to something, and what are we finding out? Now, and I did tweet out about this, is that I know every time, because I'm scarred for life now, every time a cinematic in-game fires up, I'm wondering, oh, God, who's going to die now? I remember the first time I saw Bolvar get smoked, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And at the same time, damn. Like, they just straight up destroyed my boy. They blighted him, and then they roasted him in Dragonfire. That's rough. And then, of course, in this expansion, they killed my boy Varian, and that's just... I still weep nightly about that. So it was nice to see we got through one of these without anybody dying, but it certainly sets the stage for what's to come. Which is that there's all this action down in Silithus, and now that the sword has done its deed and it's plunged way down into the planet, there's this substance that's coming up. We know what it is. It's the Azerites, the blood of the planet, the whole life force, whatever you want to call it. And goblins are mining it. We're trying to figure out as Alliance what it is. And off we go into sort of the next chapter. Is it the Azerite that we're fighting over? Is that what leads us into the next big one?
Yeah, it's really strange because, the Horde mined this up, and then so we head down there to see what's going on, and now, I don't know.
It isn't quite clear yet.
No, it really isn't. And is Azerite part of the sword that was slammed into Azeroth?
I don't think so. I think it's just the sort of crystallized version of the planet's blood.
Okay.
Of the Titan's blood, because there's a nascent, I think they say Titan, Azeroth down there in the core somewhere, and this has somehow punctured or wounded or something that Titan down in there, and now this blood is bubbling up. I guess we're all rushing to find out what it is and what to do with it, but it does seem like it's the catalyst for something, because when you watch the two cinematics, they're very heavily focused on the discovery of this. It's some force of power, but I don't think we quite know what it does necessarily. Like, it's a source of power, but what does it do? I don't think anybody really knows. But then there was one other thing that was really interesting at the end of that cinematic, both cinematics, was that there was some person there at the end with their back turned to the camera. It appeared to be female of some variety.
Yes.
Yep. And they've got a bird, and they're watching what's going on, but they don't see who it is. I didn't see who it was. So
Jaina.
Is that always the answer?
That's always the answer. It's always going to be Jaina.
It's always going to be Jaina.
It's always the speculation. Hey, look, there's Jaina. Yeah, I know. But there's always a reason for somebody in the cinematics, I guess. It's not going to be some random person. Or I could be wrong. It could just be a random person. Taryn Gregory could have been like, this looks cool. Put it in there.
Having some kind of fever dream while he was working on Overwatch and was like, oh, just throw some random chick in. It'll just throw people off the scent. I mean,
No.
but just seriously, in the sense that, you know, when they put these things out, they are typically very deliberate. And
Yes.
one of the things that was tweeted out recently by Taryn Gregory or somebody else, I think it was him, was this video footage of them at some sort of rap party that they did over at Blizzard. And this was back in the summer, and he was doing like a slow-mo of like the sword going into the cake, which had Azeroth on it and the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And this was back months and months and months and months ago, and only now can we see this because there's, you know, now the spoilers are out there, and we can see the thing there. So it shows you how, I mean, they're working on this stuff so far in advance, so you know that whatever storyline is coming, obviously they know way more about it than we do. But I thought it was interesting that they left kind of a little cliffhanger there, because usually it's like, here's a story, bang, here's what's happening, boom, and then, oh, wait, who's that? That's it.
Yeah.
You go, oh, interesting. But as part of 735, and again, leaving from one scene and going to the next, it looks like we're losing Dadgar.
Yeah, that was weird.
He said something about going to Karazhan to hang out with Medivh.
All right, so and this ticks me off because say somebody new played WoW, or just picked up WoW after watching the movie, and they saw that, you know, Medivh was clearly some bad guy in the movie.
Yeah.
And, you know,
misguided at least.
And misguided, and he dies. And now Khadgar's going to go hang out with him? Like, what's the deal with this?
I guess that's the thing. Whenever you do the movie version of the book or the movie version of the show or the game, in this case, is lore is going to be different, because the lore in the movie, the way it played out, is there's a lot of differences between that and what we know.
Yeah.
This being one of them. But, you know, Medivh has been not... So Medivh in the RTS games was very big and played very heavily in the series of events that played out in the original games. But in World of Warcraft, Medivh hasn't really been around that much. We've seen him as part of the chess event in Karazhan, but it's not like we've gotten a bunch of quests from him. It's not like he's been at some hub somewhere. He's just kind of been on the fringes because, for the most part, he's supposed to be dead, but because of stuff, reasons, he could still very much be out there. So do you think that Khadgar is just sort of flippantly saying, oh, I'm going to go hang out with Medivh, kind of like as a joke? Or do you think that Medivh possibly could make a reappearance and be the guardian badass that he used to be?
Maybe. That could maybe be it. I always try to look for similarities in stories. Like when Gandalf went to go see Saruman, but Saruman turned out to be really bad at that point, you know. So I don't know if Khadgar's going to run into that, if he's like, hey, I got to go see my mentor, and oh wow, I didn't realize he's all bad, and then all of a sudden Khadgar's sitting on top of Karazhan waiting for a big gigantic griffin to come by. He's going to jump off, and then we got to go drop a ring, but we got to build the ring. That'll be the legendary. Oh wait, I'm going. Hang on. So
now.
Yeah, so I don't so I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of that, but I do feel like we're kind of light on the Alliance heroes, because we've got Anduin and we've got Gen and the rogue commander that was there.
You mean the SI7 guy?
The SI7 guy,
Matthias Shaw.
Okay, so I was.
You were right.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So we got those three. Where are the heroes? Like,
Gilban Mechatork?
We have. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to, because you go to the Horde cinematic and you see basically all of the Horde leaders there, and you know, we're kind of light on the Alliance side. You know, they took Varian. We don't have Jaina. If that was the Varian, they were doing a tribute to Varian, and it was Anduin, you know, stepping into the role as king. Where's the rest of the Alliance? Like,
you know, I guess in a larger sense, you would feel possibly like some of these factions are getting a little war weary. Where, you know, Night Elves, harmony, peace, one with the environment, that kind of thing. Dwarves, down in the earth, you know, I mean, typical stuff, digging up their treasures and doing their mining and smithing and all that kind of stuff. Humans were off just trying to blow up everything.
Yeah.
Gnomes trying to find out ways to blow themselves up. It is an interesting dynamic there, I guess, from a 50,000 foot view. But I think one of the complaints that I know that I saw years ago was that people didn't like the fact that Varian was considered like the leader of the Alliance. That there really wasn't one leader of the Alliance, that they were all, there were like 5 leaders all coming together and, working together. And we do see Velen now, but even Velen, I think his story for the most part has now really run its course, because he's saved his people, he's forgiven Illidan, he's blasted people that need to be blasted. I like the guy, but I don't know what else there is left on the bone for that one.
Exactly. And I think with the new expansion coming out, it may, introduce some new alliance, stronger alliance characters that I'm ready for a change too. I'm ready for a change of story. Maybe, I'm actually kind of glad we didn't get another Jaina storyline this time, and we didn't get another Thrall storyline this time. You miss the characters, but the game has to evolve, the story has to evolve, and you have to have new characters. So maybe with Battle for Azeroth, we're going to see new characters, introduced, and we'll all be surprised, I'm sure. So maybe that's why we're kind of light on the Alliance side. So,
and as part of that, so one of the things that I've seen too is that, if you remember, going into BlizzCon, before the big announcement was made about Battle for Azeroth, wild speculation about what's coming next. And for the vast majority of us, I think that everybody was looking at the old gods. Yeah. I was hoping for some Lich King revival, Electric Boogaloo, but that'll come in like 3 expansions. Right now, we're getting this battle, but we know that it's coming, and so leading into this, as part of 735, we have a rare down in Silithus who is not really that stupendous in any way. His name is Ogmot the Mad, I believe. Ogmot. His name apparently changed a whole bunch of times during the PTR, but Ogmot the Mad. You go down to this camp where you're killing off dudes because that's where they told you to go, and kill a guy, get his head. There's also a bathroom quest where a guy's stuck in an outhouse and you have to get him some silk so he can wipe
the outhouse quests.
There's always got to be a quest about shit. You know how this goes. But when you kill Ogmot the Mad, when you're down there with the Twilight's hammer or whoever the hell it is down there, he drops a journal. Mm-hmm. And you see the journal in your bag. You're like, oh, it's just another piece of trash, but it's worth 200 gold. That's nice. I'll turn that in. Whatever. No. They have decided to hide a nice little sort of foreshadowing lore bomb in there. And when you go through and you read it, it's Ogmot essentially describing his life as a fighter amongst this group that he's with and what it's like. But you're also getting a very strong impression that he is in league, or at least in touch, or has been touched by the old gods. And when you go through these pages and you read some of them, which we're about to do, you also get a sense of maybe what's to come. And as much as I hate to think that Battle for Azeroth, as some people have claimed, is a filler expansion before we get to kind of the next set of big bads, which I guess is the old gods, or at least there's one left. We know N'Zoth is left.
Yeah.
I do wonder how all of this interplay will happen, but let's get to the book and let's speculate a little bit and see if we can divine what's going on here. So the first page talks about Ogmot being in this camp. He's going down to Silithus. God, I can never say this. Going down to Silithus to the Great Wound, seeking wonders, and he's hoping that the Masters, which we can only assume are the old gods, make him their vessel. Then he has a dream. And it says, 2 fleets bashing an ocean of blood. I think that's pretty obvious that that's the Horde and Alliance fighting on the ocean, right?
Right, yeah.
Shadows twisting beneath the ships, rising. Old gods, we know N'Zoth is in the water, so that seems, pretty straightforward.
Right.
Then he gets woken up, and that's the end of that dream. Then talking about life coming to the Silithus and bugs and
the bugs, yeah,
some other crazy stuff. Then we get to one that I think is really interesting. This is the one I want to get your thoughts on. So this one says, Today smoke rises up from the campfire. All right, that's my ogre, sorry. Smoke tells Agmat good story. Agmat sees lady wrapped in dark swirlies. She leads herd of blind sheep. The sheepies follow her every place she go. Do everything she say. Never doubt lady. She guide them over tall cliff. Splat, splat, splat. Stupid sheepies. The crows get fat eating the sheep flesh. The lady laugh as crows eat. Agmat laugh too. I don't know about you, but that sounds an awful lot like Sylvanas is the one we're talking about.
Yeah.
Or is it your standard Jaina answer?
No, I don't know why. No. I don't think I'm going to go with that because Sylvanas, that was part of the cinematic, the Horde cinematic, where Gallywix was showing Sylvanas what was down there, and and she's got something else going on in her mind because she knows something else. Her quest of, immortality. She's looking for a quest of immortality. So she's trying to find, since her quest was crushed in Burning Legion, I think she's going to probably try to continue this quest with all this Azerite and leading into battle for Azeroth. She's, even though she's the leader of the Horde, she's still very, very selfish and very, very single-minded with what her outcome is. And if you ask me, like, we went back to the question of who do I think is going to, who I think they're going to kill off this next expansion, if they're going to kill anybody off. I was going to lean toward either Gen or Sylvanas, one or the other. So I don't know, but yeah, I think you were right with it being talking about Sylvanas there.
Well, now when it talks about her leading sheep over the cliff, do you think she's talking about the Horde?
I think it's the Horde.
Or do you think it's just the goblins? Because I could see in reading this where you're leading the goblins down there, the crows being like Gallywix.
Oh, yes.
And then she's like laughing with him, but there's still an ulterior motive that she has that goes beyond what the goblins are doing.
It could be the peons. Yep, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Or it could just be that she's leading the Horde to doom, and I won't really get that upset about it. But
sheep.
Or sheep. Or sheep. There's a whole lot of mages getting busy out there. The next one after that, so there's that page, then the very next page in the journal. Again, I don't know what this means, but it could go a whole bunch of places. That one of them, of course, really excites me. It says, "That blade has shiny eye, always watching us. Why you no see it? 3 lies. The first one been told. Bound by that throne? No. Free. That next gonna come soon. Maybe they see this one." So, 3 lies have been told. We don't know what this is a reference to. First one has been told. I don't think I know what that is. Bound by that throne? Now, I know anytime I see the word throne, my mind immediately goes to the Lich King, and I'm like, oh, here he comes. He's coming back. Bovar's coming. But that could also be the mantle of War Chief.
Oh.
That maybe, even though she's the War Chief, if we're still talking about Sylvanas, maybe, there's an assumption being made that as the War Chief, there's certain responsibilities or ideals that she'll have, but maybe she's still just free to do her own thing because that's what she does. I don't know. What do you think?
You got me thinking now. I don't know. I mean, that's Is this you think this is leading up to having Thrall come back as War Chief?
I don't think Thrall will ever be the War Chief again. If anything, I think it's Bane.
I think Bane's too soft though. I think he's a little too soft with that.
He's the one that can work with Anduin.
Yeah, he can work with Anduin, and Saurfang respects him. Which, by the way, side topic, going off the rails real quick. Undocumented changes go, and if you're Horde, go look at all the new models for those characters.
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good. So back on topic. All right, so Bane. Okay, I can see that. I guess I can see that.
Because at some point, because I totally agree with you. I think that Sylvanas is headed down a very dark road where redemption is not possible.
There is the scene of her standing in front of Teldrassil on fire.
Oh, from BlizzCon.
From BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, she's headed down a really, really dark path. And this is borderline Garrosh Hellscream bad. You know, how at the very end of Mop, you're just like, oh, just smash this guy's head into the ground already. And nope, we didn't get that. And it was like, nope. But I don't know. I really don't know. You got me. I don't know.
Well, that's what's fun about this kind of stuff. And again, I think that that's one of the things we always enjoy about this game is that they seem to be less worried about kind of giving hints about what's to come because, you know, in the age of data mining, as soon as something hits a server or a test server, I mean, we know all about it if we choose to. But I like that they're adding kind of these little flavor pieces in there because now we have something to talk about in the interim and say, okay, well, what's going on here? I don't quite know.
Honest to God, I think I'm going to have to level up a Horde tune just to go see the storyline here because there's a lot of things that are going to be happening on that side. I have a feeling this storyline, I have not seen the Horde side of things, so I've only seen the Alliance side of things. To me, though, I still feel like this story in Legion has been very, very Alliance heavy. And maybe it's just because I haven't seen the Horde side. So maybe the next storyline for Battle for Azeroth, even though, you know, it's you know, red versus blue, it's going to be primarily maybe a Horde heavy storyline. And because Chi Vol'jin wasn't War Chief very long. Varian was king for a very long time. So you've got Chi Vol'jin, who wasn't War Chief for very long, and he died. Sylvanas is coming in. She really doesn't want to be War Chief. She just doesn't want to be War Chief. She's got her own agenda, her own thing.
She doesn't want to be War Chief like in the way that Thrall did, or maybe somebody else would. Where it's like, I want to be the caretaker of the Horde. It's I'm now in the most powerful position that I could be in, so everybody can get the hell out of my way while I do my own thing.
Boy, that's when you say it like that, it's very real to it's real
it's an
close to
interesting
home
take,
there.
I know.
It's like
Yeah, because I can see where, to your point, a lot of the last expansion with Legion has been Illidan's story and has been Anduin's story, picking up his father's sword and then carrying that through. And it has focused a lot on that. So with the typical pendulum swings that we get, very much could see now this is focused on, yes, Horde versus Alliance, but potentially with Old God intrusion into various things. Sylvanas off and running and doing her own thing. I think Anduin's still going to be trying to bring people together and I hope that Gen continues to be a counterbalance for him where it's, yeah, okay, kid, I got what you're saying here, but now's the time when we got to get huge and start laying waste to stuff because otherwise we're going to get rolled. So, and maybe Gen pushes him too hard and that's where we end up with this Battle for Azeroth. I mean, don't forget, at some point we're taking over Lordaeron. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, some serious shit's going to go down here. But it does seem like it's also going to be predicated upon some other battle somewhere else, whether it's a sea battle that's being hinted at here or somewhere else. But at any rate, Ogmont's Dream Journal. If you haven't had a chance to head down and Silith this yet, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It looks like the first in a series of quests that we're going to be getting down in that area, probably leading up to what's happening with our artifacts and trying to deal with this gigantic freaking sword that's down there.
Which you can get to the top of now. So you can get to the top of it. You can fly up there. So I don't know if I think they've changed the model because I've heard that you can't get to the top of this thing. It went above the skybox. Well,
you did it.
So yeah, so we can get up there now.
So yes, Ogmont's Vision. If you get down to Silithus, try to find Ogmont the Mad. It won't be hard. He's big giant ogre dude rolling around with a bunch of other guys you're doing quests on anyway. Get a chance to take a look at that journal and come up with your own thoughts and guesses and opinions. At least tide us over.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know on Twitter.
Yeah. Shoot us a thought on Twitter and we'll debate it on the show.
Yeah.
Because, why the hell not? All three of you that listen to us deserve that kind of chance. So that's it for 735 on my end. Anything else you've got?
No. We all survived the horrendous lag that we had and the patches after that and all the fun stuff that came with the patch. But no, everything's been, hunky dory. So yeah,
fabulous.
It's all been good.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one last piece of news, I guess you want to call it, before we go, is that my personal Lord and Savior, 10 days ago as of this recording, Chris Metzen tweeted out on Twitter that he had some kind of spinal surgery. He said that he apparently was successful. He is unscathed. However, his magnificent wizard beard has clearly been cut down completely. And there is if you go to his Twitter, at Chris Metzen, you'll see a very sad picture of him laying what looks like in a hospital bed with the oxygen in the nose, and he's got a big neck brace on, and he's all patched up on the neck and chest area. So, I mean, I don't know all of what that could be, but it certainly looks very brutal, and it's certainly my well wishes go out to Chris, because I know he listens to the show. But if you want to send him some good thoughts on Twitter, I see that he does check it every once in a while, so
yeah,
I'm sure he would appreciate it. Well, before we go this week, I do want to mention that we have our first featured sponsor.
What?
Of course, as all of you know, we bring the show to you free, but we do have our first featured sponsor, and they are Boss Wipes. Are you a World of Warcraft raider? Ever get so mad during a boss fight that you inadvertently spill your food and drink all over your desk, or literally shit yourself in anger? Then you need Boss Wipes, the all-in-one raid cleanup system. Made from the leftover materials from thousands of banned accounts, Boss Wipes can help you clean up your biggest messes while remaining recyclable, organic, and safe for the environment. Spill that Mountain Dew? Grab a Boss Wipe. Too much Cheeto dust? Grab a Boss Wipe. Sweets, snacks, feces of all species, and even blood are no match for Boss Wipes. Find a box of Boss Wipes at your local retailer today. Wow, it's good to bring somebody new on board.
That was amazing. That was great.
All right, well, that does it for this episode. Other than this show, where can the good people on the internet find you, Nav?
You guys can find me, other than, out on Twitter at NAV_OX, and I'm the same thing on Twitch right now. So I'll be streaming probably some horde leveling. I'll be doing some non-camera, just in gameplay leveling. Do some ASMR leveling. When you want to go to sleep at night, you'll just put that on and you'll just fall asleep.
The sultry sounds of Nav's Horde Warrior. As for me, you can always find me on Twitter at Berzerker Rage. Feel free to contact the show with your questions, comments, or otherwise at unshackledfuryshow@gmail.com. And you can find this show on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. So until next time, keep your swords wet and your banners high. We'll catch you next time. Farewell, champions.